Welcome to another scene set in Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire Requiem. A Requiem for London. Tonight, we set our scene on a new face in the domain. So many new figures in such trying times. The scent of shed vitae must spread far indeed. Isabel.
Yes.
You have been summoned by your grandsire, and the closest thing you have to a mentor figure. He has contacted you through the mind. It is not words you sense. It's feelings, memories, a sense of direction. A direction that takes you north. Wherever you happen to be, wherever you are, you receive this vision nonetheless. An islet, a lake somewhere. You see a shattered tomb. Nestled somewhere in the trees within this islet. It rests upon a small lake. But you know it is where you're supposed to be going. You sense your grandsire's intent. And he is never... He's never roundabout with these things.
I will absolutely show up then. Not gonna keep him waiting.
You have a general sense of where you should be going. It's not the most precise or exact thing in the world. One second. You begin to head north. I don't know what means of transportation you wish to take.
Oh Lord, honestly, she'll probably either hitch a ride or just walk.
Okay. Where does Isabel actually live, if I may ask?
Fairly certain she lives with Hartwell.
So on the south side of London. Hartwell has not been seen in his own domain recently. Or rather, he has not been staying in his regular haven.
Too busy doing war crimes.
That's one way of putting it. I will say he would have given you forewarning, because I don't believe Hartwell nor Evan out of character would have forgotten to tell you this. He would have likely told you to stay somewhere else for the time being, as he is perhaps not the best on the best of terms with the Order right now, his own sect, and well, you wouldn't want to be caught in the crossfire, right?
No, I really don't.
So yeah. You begin to head north. It's actually a fairly long journey. It takes you an hour, and the compulsion is strong enough that you don't stop to feed. And it's difficult not to think about. It's been a while since you felt your beast gnawed you like this. It's difficult to concentrate. And you see things move in the dark. You find your head snapping towards them. Like a hungry animal. And you find yourself twitchy and irritable and paranoid. But you head north. Sorry, did you say you were taking a taxi cab? Walking?
feel- walking.
Okay. That has to take more than an hour. You make your way north out of the south side of the river. And through Blackfriars, through Camden to Elington. Northeast into Dawson, up through Bolton Forest. As it becomes apparent that you're still being compelled to your destination, you spend literal hours walking up north, even towards the very fringes of the domain itself, as you enter Epping Forest. Epping Forest is a large place. It's not actually a part of London geographically. But it is a large and dense forest on the edge of the domain itself. It is very cold and damp as you sort of trudge through the dirt and the mud. It's been raining recently. And you see very little other than an occasional bridge across a stream. You can feel the animals looking at you as you pass by, as if you are distinct to them, unnatural. But they stay well away from you. Does Isabel feel anything as she trudges through the forest?
She's probably just a little creeped out by the forest. Absolutely thinks that the animals are smart for staying away. It's probably just slight creepy feelings as she's walking through this forest. Also probably kind of confused as to why she's being summoned.
As you as you trudge on through, would you like to make me a resolve plus composure check?
Yep. Hold on. Had to do math. That is a single success.
Okay. There are times during your walk where you get sidetracked. You stop thinking for a moment. It's almost like your thoughts drift and you start walking towards the animals. They stay away from you. The birds, the owls, they stay on their tree branches. They remain silent. You can see the owl's eyes in the darkness, and those of various other animals on the ground. As you sort of shamble towards them, following away from the designated path, you reassert some manner of control over yourself. You snap yourself back to reality. You push back the hungry pangs of your beast, trying to draw you into a stupor. And you keep on your way. Before the beast reasserts itself again. You do have a... oh wait, no, I forgot. I made you roll Resolve plus Composure. Could you re-roll that, please? Because you should have lost 2 dice. Because you're very hungry and that gives a dice penalty. Okay, then we can continue. I made you re-roll because you got a success on your 5th dice. Which if I'd taken away the 2 dice would have been a failure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you are able to push back the hungry pangs of your beast. It's strange, it's almost like mesmerism of sorts. It's... because you can hear the animal, you can actually hear its pulse. You can hear its breathing. You even have its scent. You could have probably tracked it throughout the entire forest if you wanted to. But you are not letting your beast control your actions this evening. This is not the time, and certainly not the place. Lest you are drawn into the territory of another here. There are a lot of rumours that surround Epping Forest. You know the Crone use it extensively. Not the followers of Set, though. Eventually, you make your way into something of a clearing. There's a large lake. It has the 3 islets you've seen in the vision your sire presented to you, your grandsire rather. Would you like to make me a quick... what would this be? I'm gonna say... Intelligence plus... Streetwise or academics, whichever is your highest.
Let's see. It would be streetwise. That's 4. Four successes.
Okay. You are standing before Connaught Waters. There's a lake in Epping. It is quite close to it's quite close to Chingford. It's outside of London itself, geographically. The domain, it sits on the very edge. Epping Forest as a whole is technically considered a part of the domain of London, but the princedom doesn't really exert much control over it. It's a forest after all. Not much lives here. At least kindred-wise. There are more faces. You can sense predatory auras. You can also see a car park on the other side that you're facing. You're on sort of the opposite side of the lake, but there's a car park on the other side that leads to a road. There's a few cars parked. And there's a few kindred. Again, you can sense their beasts. They're on the islet. The one closest to you. Many of them look wet and damp, as if they've just swam there.
She's probably gonna approach cautiously, still very unsure as to why she's here.
Given where the other kindred are, how do you make your way through the water? Or do you just sort of approach the edge of the lake?
I'm just gonna approach the edge of the lake.
Okay. Your feet unceremoniously squelch and crunch against the soil and earth on the ground. And as you approach the edge of the lake, you feel a heavy hand on your shoulder. It's cold. Freezing cold. Do you turn around or do you just stand still?
She's gonna kind of freeze and slowly turn her head to see who's there.
It is your grandsire. I shall send you an image of him. It should be in the What You See channel. Oh. There you go. And he's your grandsire Constantine.
She's gonna offer a very quiet hello.
You are very late.
I decided that maybe walking would be best.
So you decided to take the scenic route in response to my summons.
When you put it that way.
You have missed much of the meeting. But we still have kindred of importance to meet. And duties for you to fulfill. Let us not waste any more time.
Yes, sir.
He sinks into your shadow. Seems to gather a life of its own as a morass of obsidian hands arise from your shadow and unceremoniously grab you. From all angles and just pull you into your own shadow that shifts into an almost liquid pool. You can almost hear the sound of water as you collide with it.
She's gonna let out a little bit of a startled yelp.
It is uncharacteristically cold, and you always feel alone here inside this, whatever it is. Your own shadow, I suppose. It's always difficult to disassociate yourself from the absolutely crushing sense of isolation. Not even obfuscate makes you feel like this. But you can feel yourself being carried almost as the shadow you're in begins to roll across the lake. As it crawls on over, sort of rolling towards the islet like a bank of fog. Other kindred see it and part ways. Some stare at it with curiosity, some anticipation. All attention on the cloud as it slowly sinks into that tomb you saw. It's like a stairwell. It's a very old thing. It's not particularly ceremoniously constructed. Although the artistry along the walls is quite complex. It is almost like looking at an Arthurian tale of sorts. It is very... It is very much like staring at a mural of a fairy tale. But you see all the telltale signs of the kindred in it. As you make your way to the bottom, you can see a small amount of candlelight. It's very dim, very dim. And you see 3 figures. First is this one. The second is this individual. The first one is a sort of small woman with short blonde hair. Deep yellow eyes that indicate she is possessed by a Strix. Your target, an immortal enemy of your kind.
Ooh.
The thing you were embraced to hunt. The thing that every other kindred runs from. The other is a woman quite well wrapped, a scarf around her, long flowing red hair, pale skin, freckles lining her face. She stands much taller than the blonde-haired woman, who seems to have broken the sarcophagus in this small this small stone room into something of almost like a seat for herself. She wears a black tattered black dress as well. But this individual does not have the telltale yellow eyes of a Strix possessed atrocity. This is a kindred. True kindred, not compromised. But then what are they doing next to one that is possessed? Why did your sire bring you to them? The other stands out. She is a dark-skinned woman, dressed quite casually, although you can see some ceremonial adornments. Her jacket has some very distinct embroidery. Appears to be Celtic. You see that she has an elaborate tattoo running down her neck, although you only see a bare fraction of it. And strange occult symbols on her forehands. And it is this person.
Could I make a roll to see if I recognize any of those symbols?
You can. This is not actually a cult. This is politics. You can also you can roll politics in general, see if you recognize any of these figures, but also recognize the tattoos.
Okay. No, I don't. I don't recognize any of them. That was absolutely 0 successes.
You can roll me a cult to understand details about the symbols, because they definitely have occult roots.
God damn.
Why are you only rolling 3 dice?
Oops. That would be my bad, because I fucked up and didn't add the rest.
It would be intelligence plus occult.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Your politics, you'd roll 5 dice for your intelligence plus politics as well. So yeah, just re-roll those 2 dice. Re-roll those 2 rolls.
Alright, that's 4 successes on both.
Four successes. Wow, that was an exception. You got triple 10 there. Your 10 exploded into a 10, which exploded into a 10. So some of these symbols are quite obscure. They're not among the they don't rank among the more sort of culturally popular ones. One is the face of almost looks like a man embedded into tree bark is almost the sort of look of it, or like a face made of leaves. The other's a bit clearer. It's as if a woman's face, flowing red hair, but it's a deep Red, you think that tattoo may have been created with Vitae, or at least the hair was. And the other one on her forehand is a similar looking person. Very heavy ties to Celtic paganism. And specifically polytheism as opposed to the animism. This person likely worships one of the many Celtic gods in the world. With your politics, you recognize why this person worships these gods. They're a part of a very obscure group called the Weighing Kin. That is a very old name. A sect that predates the Crone itself, but later joined it. Although its name is Welsh, it has presided within Britain for a very long time, for centuries, to the point where they were one of the most influential sects in the country, or in the Union, rather. Alongside the Invictus, of course. You recognize the red-haired woman. She's a former keeper of Elysium, an ancile, a gangrel by the name of Murph Caliborn. Dark-skinned woman. You would not recognize her if she had not made such a name for herself in such recent times. Her name is Sadie Meary. Supposedly a Carthian, though. So there is the question as to what she's doing here at this meeting. The woman in a tattered gown, the blonde hair, you do not recognize. She's certainly not a kindred of London, as much as you know, at least as far as you know. But as you think on this, you feel yourself being pushed out of your shown shadow. Parts of it cling to you like sticky ichor that slowly let you go as you're pushed out of the shadow and to your feet. Your shadow begins to return to normal, but Constantine does not emerge from it.
She kind of looks around for a moment, realizes that he's no longer with her, and she faces the three women and just hi.
The blonde woman who's sitting on this sarcophagus coffin thing. It's made largely, it's made entirely of stone. Looks very dense. It's been heavily shattered though. Heavily damaged. She looks at you from a makeshift seat and simply says, in harsh but simple words, kneel.
Isabel hesitates just for a moment before doing so.
Good. Perhaps your sire was not. Sorry, she says. Perhaps your grandsire was not wrong about you. At least you can follow simple instructions. It is rare to see kindred of these knights that do not understand their place. She looks at you as she's looking down at you, which now that you're kneeling is probably true. You do not recognize me, do you?
No, I don't.
My name is Morgan. She sort of just waits to gauge your reaction. Just looks at you.
Isabel just kind of shifts her eyes back and forth for a minute and doesn't say anything.
There is a hint of a smile that appears upon Morgan's face. It does not look pleasant.
Am I supposed to know who you are?
She shakes her head. I did wish to see if you would attempt to mislead me.
There's not really any point of lying. I mean, as she looks around, I don't think I could get away if you decided to kill me for that, so...
You are not incorrect. But many seek to ingratiate themselves when brought low. I see you do not hold such pettiness inside you. This is a good start.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of better for everyone's health if you just do what's asked.
She nods her head as if in agreement. Yes. Both your blood and mine understand the importance of obligation. I am Morgan. I am of the blood of a Ventru. Progenitor of a Brum. You can actually roll me a cold on that if you like.
dokie.
2 successes. You've heard of Fabron before. They're actually one of the more they were one of the more numerous bloodlines in the Union, although their numbers dropped sharply around the time of Renaissance, around the time of the Inquisition. Some consider them to be extinct, but they've been around for a while now. They're one of the older bloodlines in the world. They're at least 1,000 years old. And they are known to possess a very bizarre set of powers, which allow them to manipulate their blood in very strange ways. It's more like powers that enable them to heal and hunt and sanctify agreements. It's difficult to categorize. What you have heard of their abilities is quite broad. But they have often been called hedge knights, and been known to be victims of tragic fates, and strange oaths and obligations. So perhaps that is where their power descends from. You understand their symbol to be that of a chalice, cross on it. A grail, if you will. I have heard you and your grandsire seek the death of the birds, of the owls. The grandsire has had little success. I have had many infest the domain.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Have you ever hunted a Strix before?
No.
She nods. And now I understand why you have not attempted to kill me. Those who possess my eyes are often believed to have been taken by them. Such myths are correct. But it is not true for me.
The spell will blink a couple of times at that one.
You can ask how the Mekhet ask. Ask your beast if I am possessed. Ask your beast if I'm an owl. You may ask such questions in my presence to it. I will not be insulted. So what you want to do here is you want to use your Auspex 1 power.
Okay.
It's called Beast Hackles. So Auspex works very differently in this game relative to Masquerade. So the first use of Beast Hackles in a scene is free. So if you use it a second time in this scene, it'll cost a vitae for every additional time you want to use it.
Okay.
Your dice pool for it is your Wits rating, plus your Empathy, plus your Auspex rating.
Alright.
If you succeed, you can ask one question to me, the ST. The question, however, has to be an immediate question about danger or weakness. There are some sample questions in the book, but the one you want to ask here is this person a Strix?
Well, I did succeed.
Okay.
And that is indeed the question that she will ask. She will ask if if Morgan is a Strix.
You ask her... Oh, sorry, when you ask the beast, that question, you see the beast reach out to Morgan. You see it physically like a gnarled claw. You feel its eyes bore into her, although she doesn't seem to react at all. In fact, nobody perceives anything but you. As you lapse into a brief vision, you see Morgan standing amidst a pile of wood. The earth around her is clouded in shadow, yellow eyes peering out from the endless dark. It is she who lights the wood pile around herself as if to repulse it, as if to chase it away. You see her ensconced in a large overflowing cloak, deep black feathers. As the fire chases the shadows away. And when you look into her eyes, you do not see the possessive, haunting eyes of a Strix. Yes, they are gold and piercing and haunting. But it is almost as if very brim with a certain conviction, with fire, and a beast behind them. A beast no owl could ever possess. And the vision ends, and you are still staring at the free woman who stand before you. She awaits an answer from you.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, she stares down at you again and says, "Well then, why so afraid?"
Cause I'll be honest, of me being still kind of unsure as to why my grandsire just picked me up in a shadow and dropped me here and fled.
You hold so little faith in him.
I feel like if I answer that, I'm gonna get in further trouble than not answering that.
I believe he will wish to have words with you after that accusation.
Yeah. I figured.
Ah. But you have never hunted a Strix. I'm almost disappointed. It is something your blood is known for. I am here to assist you in your grandsire in your endeavours to see them exorcised from this city. Your grandsire has stated he believed you would be a worthy asset in seeing them removed and destroyed.
I think he's got a lot more faith in me than I have faith in myself.
Then I would suggest you learn to believe. Because neither I nor the Strix will wait. While this domain tears itself apart, the owls have harnessed the chaos to carve open a place for themselves, seeking to bore their way into our courts, our retainers. My loved ones, you wouldn't wish for your brother to be taken by them, would you?
Of course not.
But their brother, theirs you can help destroy. I do not know how much your grandsire has told you, but he has been vigilant in attempting to destroy the Strix, but there are so many. Raw force cannot carry the night. And so he looks to kindred like you and I to lighten his burden. I have been in this domain for a very long time. And I know many of the birds that once frequented this place, this country, this so-called kingdom. Many of them are still here. There is one that calls itself the Second Sun. I know the body it likes to inhabit. It likes skin riding our kind. We're less disposable than the mortals, you understand?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's understandable.
It has birthed a bird of its own in its time. I have seen it. It is written in the stars. You will find this youngest bird, this hatchling. And you will capture it. You will not kill it. Do you know how to capture a Strix?
I am afraid I don't.
There is an empty sigh from Morgan. You know of spirits, yes?
Yes.
You know how they love certain things, how they can be appeased.
She nods.
Like in those stories I'm sure you love so much. Strix are much the same. There are things they love and there are things they hate. Things they cannot stand. Like a certain day of the week. Or a scattered bale of rice. Of grain. The sound of bells. The innocent cries of a child. Find it and ask your beast what it hates most. What it cannot stand. And you'll be able to imprison it. Cage it inside. Whatever you wish. So long as you wield that which it despises most.
She nods again.
Find your... She stops herself from saying something. Almost as if she chose to reveal something to you, but then decided not to.
Find my what?
She simply smiles at you. I know where it sleeps. In a cemetery. It's not yet potent enough to wield a person, only an empty corpse. It cannot push a soul from its own body. That makes it vulnerable. And you are young, and as such still in touch with yourself. That will shield you if it attempts to take you, but it should not be able to. Not without help. Find it and bring it to me. This is your test as a Chabit and as an acolyte of my circle. Both the fellows are set in the weighing kin will be looking at you with anticipation, Isabel. Do not disappoint us.
I will try my best not to.
You will not do your best, you will succeed. You would not wish to reflect poorly on your grandsire and his recommendations to me.
Of course not.
You were made for this. You are a hunter. Alright, I hear Setites tend to get aggravated if their knees remain on the floor for too long.
She stands up.
But you are so obedient, are you sure you're a Setite?
I don't like making people angry.
But surely as a Setite you must understand you'll have to make people angry, no? She just awaits an answer.
I will cross that bridge when I come to it then.
Very well. So will I. She smiles at you with her narrow fangs. And she'll hold out her hand to you as if for you to shake it.
Isabel will reach out and take it.
It's an odd gesture considering she had you kneel to her earlier. Can you roll me resolve plus composure again? With the -2 dice penalty still intact. And 1 second, I just need to double check something. Yes, you gain, because you resisted frenzy, you gained the tempted condition. So what the tempted condition does is that it's a condition that stacks over time. Every time you resist frenzy and don't get an exceptional success, you gain a stack of the tempted condition. It basically gives you a -1 dice penalty to any rolls to resist frenzy.
Okay.
And every time you resist frenzy, that dice penalty gets larger. So after 3 successful resistances, the tempted would be tempted -3. You get a -3 dice penalty on top of any other penalties. So eventually, unless you find a way to stop your beast from slowly clawing its way out of your chest, you will fall to frenzy and you will kill somebody. So you are currently working with a -3 dice penalty because of tempted and because of your hunger.
Alright, so that is only 1 success then.
Oh wow, you succeed. You take her hand, but with your other hand, you almost push up her sleeve and lean into her arm. You extend your fangs and you almost look as if you're going to bite her arm until you look at her and stop yourself. She has not responded, but you hear Sadie and Murph step forward as if to intervene, as if they were going to intervene. But Morgan looks as if everything was fine. She didn't even move in response to you.
My apologies.
If you are so hungry, you merely have to ask. As Isabel responded at.
She's just gonna kind of stare at her in probably a mixture of confusion and shock.
It's difficult to pass whether she's teasing you, threatening you, or being genuine.
Isabel's gonna let go of her hand and I will be okay. It is fine. I will. It'll be okay.
You say that as you take your hand away from her and you find yourself shivering. You don't feel very cold. It's just you feel your beast everywhere. It's in your head now. Like it's asking you to just take her off her. Do it.
She's going to attempt to try and just ignore it.
Ken, you succeeded the check, but it's getting bad now. You need to find someone to feed from, you need to do something. And you know that even feeding, it'll stop your hunger, but it won't stop the beast from imposing itself on you. It's clawed its way into your head now, it's not leaving. You need to find a way to get out of this, get away from it, get away from the kindred world, find someone to talk to, find something to distract you from this. But for the moment, you're safe. Morgan looks at your internal struggle with a sort of amused curiosity. You may go. I wouldn't wish for you to go against your own wishes by remaining in my presence for any longer.
Isabel's gonna kind of bow her head and thank you very much.
Good evening, dear Isabel. So you exit this chamber, this stone chamber, and walk up the stairs again. The stairs are quite well, this entire place is made of stone, but it's pretty well concealed beneath the islet. Like it's like the entire thing was well buried. It's clear this place has been dug up. It's been dug up for some time, but you know it was dug up. And you exit the chamber. There are no kindred here anymore. Just birds and wildlife and a few owls. Some of which have those eyes you hate so much, those that make you jump when you look at them. And you just have to go, it's just an actual owl, it's not one of those. But being alone makes it even worse. You find yourself growing even more aggravated when you're alone. There's nothing to feed from. There's nothing to take. There is someone that follows you. There is someone that follows you. And it is Sadie. It is, it was the woman with the tattoos. With a relatively casual dress sense.
Did you need something?
Lady Morgan has dictated that I assist you, and so I shall. Although she has barred me from employing my coterie to help you. I believe she too wants this to be my test.
I will appreciate the help.
I'm glad Lady Morgan has given me the opportunity. But would you like to change numbers?
Oh, yeah, yes, of course.
She takes out her phone. Exchanges numbers with you.
I guess we can work out a day where we can, go have a look around.
The lady has informed me as to specifically where the owl sleeps. Well, where it resides. I don't think they actually sleep. I think you know a lot more about them than I do, to be honest.
One would think sometimes.
Any knowledge you could give me on them at all, I would appreciate it. Considering we're in this together now.
Yes, of course. I will help where I can.
Thank you. My name's Sadie, by the way.
Isabel.
I used to be a Carthian.
Used to?
I was made to run away from myself and who I really was. It's a long story.
Of course.
But those that compelled me are gone now, thanks to the lady. I have my freedom. And my faith. Everything. Would you like me to help you hunt before the evening's out? You are shivering.
That would be lovely.
You just hear your beast just rattling inside your head. As if it is trying to suggest, why not just drink her?
She shakes her head a little bit.
My car is it's just over the lake. Don't know. You don't look like you swam here.
I did not. I got pulled into my own shadow.
Then the stories about your bloodline are true.
Depends on what those stories may be.
You I've heard legends about your kind, about you controlling the abyss. Darkness and things and beyond this world. Never really paid much attention to it when I was a Carthian. Kindred have lots of stories about them. They make up most of them. Just another reason why I wasn't fit to be a Carthian, I suppose. But come with me and I'll ensure you're fed and make sure no accidents happen.
Thank you.
I know how it feels to be in a situation like that. The last few years have been pretty rough.
I'm sorry. I hope things go better for you from now on.
I've never felt closer to who I am. She gives a very earnest smile. She doesn't have the same pale, pallor that Morgan had. She is still. She still looks sickly, but she doesn't look truly dead. If you don't mind, I'll just let you make your own way over to the car park.
Yeah.
I would offer to help, but well, I flew here, so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I will see you over there.
She transforms into a you literally hear the bones begin to shift and crack and the flesh shift. Her hair turns into feathers and her nose becomes a beak. Her eyes gain a nictating membrane as she slowly turns into a small crow and flies on over. And I assume you just walk through the lake, you don't need to breathe.
Yeah.
Although it would ruin your phone, I suppose. So I suppose you swim for the sake of technology.
Yep.
But yeah, Sadie's waiting by her car and she'll take you back into town. She keeps an eye on you every now and again while she's driving. She shifts her eyes back to you. It's almost impossible for you to conceal your hunger at this point. The beast is ever present. You just find yourself subconsciously doing things they wouldn't normally do. It's difficult to stop yourself from just leaning to Stady and taking a bite out of her. But eventually we'll make it to civilization again. Doesn't take too long by a car ride. And she takes you down to a more tucked away place. Somewhere in Carthian territory. And you'll find something to eat there. What I think, would that be a good place to end the scene?
That sounds good.
Alright, and thank you for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye.